Hello everyone, welcome back. So in this lecture, we're going to see how we can optimize our test cases that we created in our last lecture. So if you remember that in our last lecture, we created a registration test class, right? Underneath our over here, it's a source test folder, right? So and test case was pass. Just to recap, it was the related with the registration form, right? So here is all the values for the first name, last name, email, telephone, password, all those things. And the test case was passed, right? Let me run once again and see. There will be some problem, and we need to enhance or optimize our code to reuse these test cases again and again. So let me run it once again. You'll find the problem. TestNG test. Okay, launching the browser. Okay, and you can see here it's able to enter the first name, last name, email, telephone, their password, and then click on the privacy policy. And definitely after that, when it's click on continue, it didn't show us the message we're supposed to say, receive the confirmation message like your account has been created. It didn't create the account. Instead, it's saying that warning. You can see that there is a warning. It's showing that your email address is already registered, because this is the email address that we use in our last execution. It is a static email address we use, and then when you use the same email address for the first time, it was able to register the account using this email address. But when you use the same script, same test data, this is the test data, the email address, and creating sign up your account, register the account, it's found an error because this email address is been already used. So let's go back to over here. So here we're back to our Eclipse. You can see this is test case. We have all the values, like the first name is static, last name is static, and the email address. And that's why when you try to use the same email address second time to register, it's throw us error. So we need to have like all this value dynamic. This is a static value, so we need to have the generate the value for the first name, last name, or email address, or even telephone number, dynamically, so that we can reuse this script, this test again and again. Otherwise, we have to manually change those test data, which is not, it's not, doesn't make sense, to create a frameworks or test automation like that. Your script should be automated, everything including your test data. So let's see how we can make it dynamic. To do this, I'm going to add a plugin, a jar. Okay, let me go to the here ambient repository. There is a plugin. Let me find that plugin. It's called Commons. You can search it, go to the ambient repository and search it over there. Commons, and then lang 3, and then you can see commons dash lang 3. Go up there, and then you can get your latest version, 3.16. It's fine, and you can copy the code and go to our pom.xml file, close this one, pom.xml file, and then you can add over here underneath your dependency. Okay, you will find it should be here, pom.xml file, so you can add over here. Okay, and save it, let it update. Okay, so, and then format your code. So this is a commons length. So this common length is another Java project where it has a one class. I'm going to create a method. Just be with me. Okay, create a method. Let me outside it's if else. if fields. Outside of if fields, create a method over here. Let's create a method. I will say public create a method so that it can create a automatically random number, a random name or a string. I would say public void, let's give a name, it's called a get random string. And then inside this method, there is a class that's we just added right in the form of our pom.xml file. This is from this common lengths. There's a class in this package. It's called random string utils. So call this class random string utils dot. Inside this class there's a static there is a lot of methods you can find. It's one of the method is called random alphabetic. So we need the it's for the name, it's all alphabetic, right? So we can call random, you can find random alphabetic. You can see there is a random alphabetic. Okay, and then you can pass the how many character you want to pass to build a random alphabetic. Okay, so you can pass over here, and you can say over here, say I would say I will pass 6. So 6, every time it will create randomly some string values based on the 6 character. And hover your mouse, it should, you can see, if you hover your mouse, you can see it's supposed to return the string. So since we put the method return type is a void, that's why it's giving you string error. So let's return it. Okay, it should be good, and then hover your mouse, remove invalid modifier y. Okay, control save it, control shift O. Okay, here is a change to the string, but I believe what I did, so inside this test method it should be outside of the test method. That's why. Okay, just copy this one, so make sure you put it outside of your test method, so it's outside of here. Okay, and then control shift O, it should, okay, right? So this will, this again, this random string, it's coming from the common slang library, right? So it's coming from here. Let me put some common slang 3. That's the jar we have included in our pom.xml file. From this library, this methods, this class comes from. This is the class. Okay, comes from inside this. There is a method called random alphabetic. It's automatic. It's randomly create a string. So based on the number of character we pass, which is 6, okay, it will create it. Okay, so now we can directly call this method where we need to create our random sum characters. So like instead of now over here, let me just make a comment here. This one, let me copy this one, and here what you are going to do, we can call this method. Can we call this method? Yes, because this method it's underneath the same class. So if you have a same method in the same class, you can call one to each other, right? So you can easily call up there. So all we do, we'll say here instead of this, so we'll call this method, right? This is the method. So this method will generate the random string and will enter as a first name. Instead of this like hardcore Justin, instead of that, we're passing this method. And this method will create random string based on 6 character. What we can do, since it's a name, we can convert those names to the the uppercase. So usually that's what very standard when you fill up the form with a name. So a name usually goes to the uppercase. So we can say if you put dot, you can see there is a method is called to upper. You can say uppercase. and it's returned the string, same string. Okay, so it will generate the random number based on 6 character again, and will convert to the uppercase. Okay, same thing we can do for the our last name. Let's make a copy. I'm still leaving this one, so let's make this one as okay common, and then over here instead of beaver I can put this one. Okay, our last name. Now for the email address, so email address, you have, we have this, we need a string, and then we need this one, right? We need Codenbox.com, that part, right? So can we use this random string? Yes, we can do it. So let me make a comment, this line, so that we can reuse. I keep it this one, our old line as a node, so that you can still see that's, how the change happened. So here we can use this one. We don't need to convert to a uppercase. We can say this one, right? We can make this one, and then we can use concatenate, right? We can use concatenate, and after that, rest of the part we can use as a, let's, right? So after we use use the concatenate sign, and then there will be codenbox.com. So it will generate your random string, okay, whatever is the number based on 6. So instead of, like, you can say TestNG, just whatever it will create, that should be fine. And at the rest, so every time it will generate a random email address, right? Now the telephone number, okay, do you have any method from this from this class, like random string utils class? Let's see, we do. Yes, let me create, similarly I will create another method here. Okay, I'll create another method. I will give a name over here, change this method name, get random, I'll say number, or you know what, yes, number, num, and then use the same random string utils class, and inside that, let's remove this. There is a method, it's called random numeric. You can see random numeric. Okay, so it will create some random number, whatever the character. Let's put the 10 characters, since it's a we're going to use for a telephone. So telephone usually is like 10, 11 digit, right? So we can use this random num. So let's come over here. Right here we're going to use, let me comment this one, and then, oh no, not this one, but the telephone number. Okay, let me copy the line and then update this line. Keep the old one so that you can easily understand. So let's copy this one, and here we'll call this method get random num, right? So it will create a random number for with a 10 digit, right? Then set password. For the set password, you can see it has our password. Normally, it's mixed with alphanumeric, right? Alphanumeric with some special character you can do. So you can add something like that, right? So that, to do this, what we can do? Can you use any method? Yes. Let's create another method. Let's say, I would say public. Oh, sorry. Public, and it will return again a string. A string, I would say name, method name would be get random, say alpha numeric. So this is the method name. Okay, then we'll return. So let's what we can do, we can use to create the alphanumeric, so it will be the string or character and the number, right? So what we can do, we can just call this guy. We can call this guy, this method, like random utils with the random alphabet. So let's pass like probably 4 character and puts in a, let's put this one in a variable. I would say string value, and return type would be string. Same thing we can do, we can use this guy, okay, to build a random numeric number. So let's pass 3-digit over here for this, and let's put this one in another variable. I would say numeric value, right? Numeric value, and the return type would be string. Okay, return type would be string. Now we can add, concatenate, we can add this to variable, right? So let's say return, let's return this string value variable plus this guy. So this will create alphabetic character, 4 character, and this will create return 3 character, 3 number, random number. So this will concatenate. And after that, if you want to add any special character, let's add a special character. Say I can add this one, so at the rate. Okay, so this will return again alphabetic character, 4 character. This will create random 3 number, and then there will be after that will be at the rate. Okay, it will return. So definitely, okay, will return string. So this will, okay, we can call this method to randomly create an over here password. Let's comment this line, and instead of this line, we can optimize this line this way, right? We can optimize this, and here we can call this method get random alphanumeric method, right? Get random alphanumeric method. Here, where is the set for? So the set password, call this method directly, okay? Alphanumeric method. So it will directly will call both of them, and it will create this alphanumeric one password. And now the next part is set confirmation password. So whatever the password will create by this method, we need to pass over here. But is that going to work if we just paste this one? If we just use this, call the same method over here, is that going to be match? Because this confirmation password, it means we have to pass exactly the same password. Is that going to work if we just pass this method? No, because when this line will execute, it means it will call this method again. It will randomly create one alphabetic 4 character, and then randomly will create numeric number with a 3-digit, and then it will create a random alphanumeric the values, which will not match this. The return of this method will not match with this. But for our test case, we need to match our test our password, and have to be there for confirmation password have to be the same. So how can I make this thing same? To do this, what we can do, we can use, let me put over here this one. So let's put this one when this will call the first time, get random alphanumeric method, first time for the set password. We can, before it's call over here, let's put this one in a variable. Call this method first and put in a variable so that it can store the value. So I would say let's enter password. Okay, enter password, and it will be returned the string. Okay, now we can pass this variable over here. So whatever the value will create by calling this method, the same value will pass over here, and again we'll pass the same variable here. In that case, this get random alphanumeric method will call one time and will use twice for set password and also for set confirmation password field. Okay, so this way it will be the same. Okay, other than check policy is fine, continue is fine, should be fine. All right, now save it, make sure you save it. Let's run it. This time it should pass our test cases. The last time it was failed, and we know this why it was failed, because our email address, same email address, we cannot use twice, multiple times. Now let's run it, save it, TestNG. Invoke the browser, maximize. You can see it's created and there is no error found, and it was successfully created, and that's why we can see this your account has been created, this message. Okay, close this one. Okay, and you can see that it's passed and there is no failure, right? Good. And now so this is the way we can optimize our code so that it can reuse, so we don't have to manually change. There is a few more things we can do optimized in this code over here, test script. So now you can see, if you notice that here is one thing, our before class, right? That's a before class. We need to add another things, another method. So this is here, right? Close this, and here we need to add another method, because the before method, before class, this method will execute, as the first time at the beginning of this class, so which is about Chrome driver initialization and our browser, and then test cases. This is the test method will execute, and at the end we need to close our browser, right? So to close our browser, what do? There is a tear down method, right? And it should be at the end. This method should run at the end after. So we can say add the annotations after class, right? After class annotations, and we can say public void tear down. Tear down is a method name. It's a very common method name. It's used in industry to close your browser, to write your code related. So we'll say driver.quit. Okay, driver.quit. So it will close our browser, and hover your mouse, input the package related with your after class. So this will close your browser after and once, and it will execute at the end of all of your test cases. Your test method got execute, right? So this will open and initialize, this will run your test cases, and this will close our browser, right? Now you can see, if you notice one thing here, this before class method is a very common method, right? For every test cases, if you create more test cases, it means more class, another class, write more test cases, whether in separate class or the same class, we can write more test cases. It's up to you. But whenever you write a test cases, before you execute our test cases, we have to execute this before class, this method, because we need the driver initialization, we need the URL application, and we need to maximize implicitly all those things. So this is a very common thing that we need to run again and again. If we create another test class, example, I create another test class for login, and at the beginning of the test class, again I have to write this code again, and also I have to write this code again, the after class too. So because at the end of every test case, we have to close our browser, because every test case have to be individual and independent. So before every test case is execute, you have to open your browser and you have to close your browser, and in the middle you have to execute. So this is like repeated work. So to repeated work, if we write, say example, 100 test cases, for 100 test cases you have to write this class, this method, tear down method, and your test setup method, this method. It's repeated work. That doesn't make sense to repeat this, rewrite this code for with each and every class. Other than we can create a base class, which is a common class, and from there where we can put all the repeated method, and from there we can call this method wherever we need at the beginning of our each and every test cases in our test class. Okay, let's see how can we do this. So to do this, we're going to create another package underneath the same folder, source test Java. Since this is related, the initialization stuff is related, we need to use in our test cases. So for the same folder, source test folder, we're going to create another package. Okay, create another package, and I will give a name similar like Codenbox dot, let's give a name test base, right? Test base. Okay, finish this, and inside this, let's create another class. I will give a class name. It's called base class. So it is a base, and here let me let's close this one. Let go here. From there, copy our common things, right? So this is the common setup class method. Let's copy this one. So I copied this one and paste it here. Okay, paste it here, initialization, and then let's copy the after class one. Okay, copy, I cut it and paste it here. Okay, so this two is the reusable things comes over here. And also what I want to copy all those things, all the three methods we created, like to generate random string, random number, random alphanumeric values, those things I want to, because we can use this method any other event test cases wherever we need to create or generate any random number or string alphanumeric. So this can be reusable. So reusable things we can make it separate, puts in a base class. But base class is all about the reusable things, and this is one of the objective to develop a frameworks that you have to increase reusable code, so that your script execution will be faster and the less code and neat and clean. Okay, so those things, so make sure you save it. Now your before class, your after class, all those things in a separate class, in a base class. So how this setup method and tear down method will apply over here in this method, because we need now that you can see there is an error for the driver because we moved the setup method from this class. So now you can inherit those method like setup method, tear down, all those method we have in this base class. You can inherit means like you will make a develop a relationship between two class, and one class will treat as a child class, another class will treat as your parent class, and the child class can directly call any object, any variable, any method directly from parent class to child class. So to inherit, we can just, all you have to do over here in your registration registration test over here, you will say extend, and then put the the other class which is called base class. Okay, it is part of the Java OOPS principles. You have to confirm that you go through and understand the Java OOPS principle. Inheritance. So inherits is nothing, it's like help you to build a relationship between two class as a child. So on your extend keyword on the left side, this will treat as a child class, and the right side, this is treated as your parent class. So you can easily import, hover your mouse and import package, and now you can see all the error is gone, the driver is gone, all the error is gone. Save it, make sure you save it, Control S. Now you can see there is no error in this. The reason why, the driver we need over here, this driver we declared in our base class, right? In our base class over here from this setup method, and this is a tear down. Everything's over here now can directly, any method over here now can directly call here. So driver is coming from there, and you can see this random string, there is no error because this method were directly coming from the base class, because base class is now is our parent class for this registration test. And any method, any variable, anything, any object you can directly call by the name in your child class when you have a relationship, set up a develop a relationship between two classes, a child and parent. So that's what we did. Okay, you see. Now the same thing, if this method, tear down method, setup method, we can use on other test cases and other classes following the same inheritance. Like we'll do the extend and we'll make the base class always as a parent class, right? So very simple, right? Now you can run this one again. TestNG. It should be good. Here we go. Okay, and you can see there's one pass, and here you can see the test cases got passed. Okay, and just one more optimization we can do in our page object class. So if you open let's open our page object class. And by the way, if you see, you have some unused import because we moved all the related package in a base class, right? So there is an unused. To remove those things, you can just Control-Shift-O. It'll automatically remove all the unused packages. Okay, and then so if you let's open our one of the page object class, like home page. In our home page, you can see, and both of them, like registration and a home page, right? Registration, home page, and the registration. Is there something is common we can find? Yes, the constructor class method over here, you can see for the home page is the same constructor method we use, right? So this is a common. So every time we are going to create a class related with our page, we have to initialize, create the constructor of that page. So this is a reusable. So why not we remove, create another common class where we can remove this the reusable method or constructor, so that we don't have to repeat this code again and again with every page object class. So to do this in our page object package, okay, let's create, you can create another separate package for that, or you can create inside the same package. Like I'm going to create inside the same package, like page object, the package. Let's create one class. I'll give a name class, and give a name over here. I would say this is base component. I would say let's give a name base component. Base component. Okay, finishes. So inside the base component, okay, from the home page, let's copy that the same constructor method that we reused. Okay, let's copy this one and paste it over here. Okay, paste it over here, and then public home page, and here, since this will be the common constructor, this is a constructor. The constructor have to be always with the same name, your class name. Like this is our class name, so change the constructor method name, right? And now here, if you go to your home page will have a problem, because through the constructor we were passing the driver value. So how can I resolve that problem now? To resolve our problem, we can just create a constructor same way. Let's create a constructor. Say this is the constructor name, right? Or let me just copy this one again. Sorry. And here, this is home page. Okay, home page, right? Home page. So this was before. So now we don't need anymore this line. We don't need anymore this line. Okay, so where this driver getting the this driver initializing? This driver, it's initializing from our test cases, right? In our test case, if you remember that in our test case, the driver is initializing from where? From our base class over here, right? So here is the actual driver. From here, it's coming to our test cases, is coming to our test cases. We can directly call the driver over here, and from here, when you create an object, our home page, we're passing the driver. So this driver has the real driver knowledge. So this driver is going to our our home page or our registration page, right? So here it's coming over here, right? We're passing there. So, and from here it should go to our base component over here. How we can pass that driver information from our home page to this the base component over here. To do this, we can use one call a keyword is called super, then pass a driver. Okay, super and pass a driver, and then this is the home page, right? Yeah, home page. And then hover mouse, remove object, and then it's saying that okay, remove argument to match object. Why it's it's saying that okay, remove argument to match. Oh, I see what we have to do. So we have still this constructor home page, and we need to pass this constructor through. We need to call this through this constructor of this constructor base component. So here let's make a relationship between this two class home page. It's a extends, and then make this base component as a parent. Okay, home page as a parent. Now base component is a home page, it's a parent, this is a child. So from your child, you can call from your child constructor, you can call your parent constructor. Okay, so because this is a constructor too, right, for parent. So we can easily call your parent constructor from your child constructor. So when you call your parent constructor, you can pass a variable using a super keyword. Super is coming from Java, so it can use to to pass a variable or argument to your parent class. To your parent class where the constructor, since this is a constructor, it will call the constructor of parent class, and through the super, this driver will pass to our parent constructor driver. So this driver will assign by the driver over here. Okay, by the driver over here, and this driver is coming from our test cases, which is actually in our test cases base class, right? So this will be assigned over here, and this will be a work. This is the way it can be reusable. So same thing we can do for each and every page. For this is the home page, then registration page. We don't need over here. For the registration page, you can just remove this guy. Let me just you can just remove this two line, and I add a super here, super keyword, like save it, and make sure that you do the extend. Make a parent your base component class, right? Should be fine. Everything looks good. Let's go to your test class. This is the registration test. Okay, should be good. Let's run it. Okay, TestNG test, invoke the browser. Okay, it should pass. It was so quick. You can see there is one test pass, or and no failure. If you want, you can see, you can make a failure. See this how it works. Is that really catching, giving you the failure? So at the end, we're validating this. Your account has been created. Let's add another explanation so that it does mismatch. It will not match and it will fail it. Let's run it again. This time it should fail. You can see, let's see the report. Here is a failure. And if you see over here, so we said in our test cases, if it's a fail, if this actual message does not match with our expected, so definitely this time didn't match, and then it should comes to the else block, and over here it's supposed to print this message. You can see here, did not match, test fail, and then it said assertion failed. So this test case as a considered as a failed. Okay, this is the way you can do the validation, pass or fail. Let's update this one so that it doesn't fail next time when it will run. But this is all about the optimization we did in our page object classes. Adding another class is called, as you know, base component, where we add the common constructor. And also in our test cases, we added a base class, base class, where we added all the reusable method for the setup, and for the after class with the tear down, and also all the methods related for the to generate the random string, number, or numeric alphanumeric value. Okay, so this is the optimization. This is the way you can optimize, and you can reuse wherever you need in your test cases as well as your page object classes. Thank you.